Soul Garden.
Hello, Your Royal Majesty, and welcome back to Soul Horoscope's weekly update. From my webcam to yours, I'm Christopher Witecki, your host to the universe. I'm also hosting a hell of a deal right now at soulmart.me. Right now, if you buy a 1-hour reading, I'll throw in a free 30-minute follow-up good through 2012. These two ought to get you through to the new year, through the magic shift. It's a perfect first-timers reading. Great gifts. I mean, take advantage while supplies of Witecki last. And we are working on Soul Capital right now. The Leo state of awareness is shifted and focused on the part of you that owns values. And when it comes to values, Leos are actually very nitpicky. You use Virgo consciousness to manifest your soul capital. That means that you tend to let details get in the way of self-confidence. You tend to hold too tight to certain details that lead to self-confidence. You tend to expect too much proof before you step into your self-confidence. These are all symptoms of Virgo energy anyways. Anal retentive Virgo, we all know it. So this is the way you are when it comes to the way you feel. And unfortunately, it can get right in the way of your heart chakra. Now, Leo rules the heart chakra, but did you know Virgo co-rules it with you? Not really rules it, but lives and emulates from there. In other words, a Leo can shine from their heart, but if their soul capital sucks, you will dim the light you put out right there, right in the heart chakra. That is a conflict of the heart, where you feel conflicted. Literally, the energies are spinning. Now remember, you use this green energy, let's go here, to develop what we call soul capital. This is the part of your soul that is valuable because you said so, and so it is. I thought so. Now, if you're in boot camp, you know what that means. But what it means is it is time to affirm what you're worth, and if you don't affirm what you're worth, you're not worth anything, which means that all you've got to do is affirm. Now, that's the problem. Sometimes Leos are looking for proof. That's because you use Virgo consciousness. So Virgo is always having to use faith to rise above certain details, and you have to use certain faith to rise above your soul capital issues. So we are in chapter 1 of Virgo, which means this week we're working on how you live in the moment, whether or not you are confident or not confident. And on Monday, we are cloudy, we are hyper aware in the royalty of the zodiac. Now, over the weekend, you might have had a breakdown. You might have had a breakdown in soul capital, a fear of money, a fear of confidence, having to face your issues of confidence or finances, some sort of slippery banana peel with you and yourself, and having to get strong with you and yourself. Monday, you break through and understand why you couldn't be strong or confident for yourself, but you're hyper aware because the moon is in Capricorn, pulling your emotions into your health and your body. On top of that, we have a bit of a stalemate with the planets. We have an opposition as the moon shifts into mid-chapter 3 of Capricorn. It opposes Venus in Cancer. This literally is a tug-of-war between faith and reality for the royalty of the zodiac. You're trying to feel strong in the moment, but you're going to have to expand your faith to do so. And this tug-of-war is the real battle of the day. But what also screws with it is Saturn. Saturn, which is wrapping up and committing this week. I mean, this is the pivotal week. Determine who will be queen and who will be princess one more time around. And that is due to how you manage your thoughts and your attitude. More on that in a little bit. But on Monday, we're feeling the stalemate. On Tuesday, sunny and sentimental, Venus comes out to play and the moon moves into Aquarius, pulling your emotions into love, interest, relationships, and your overall sense of balance. So emotions are focused or harboring on your ability to balance and the way you connect to others. At the same time, there is a chance of sentimental slipping as you try to find the balance between you and others. So you might get pulled into relationships on Tuesday as you seek balance. Now the planets are blessing us with a yod, which is God giving us the finger, in this case pointing for you to restore balance to your pocketbook or restore balance to your self-confidence. So although your emotions are maybe focused on love, really you need to love yourself first, Your Majesty, your mirage. So this yod demonstrates it. The moon in Aquarius brings your emotional focus of your self-love into what? Into making yourself feel more valuable. And Uranus in Aries says, keep an open mind about your philosophy or how this will happen. As long as you stay flexible to how this will happen and you are emotionally present for your mirage, that energy will allow you to restore your self-confidence on Tuesday. On Wednesday, it's a cloudy day, but a loving day. The moon stays in Aquarius, and so emotions are still harboring around relationships. Maybe now you really can be with your honey, because yesterday was a bit more difficult. Neptune rules the day, and so we're kind of on a magical mystery tour of our psychic energy, and we're trying to get to the bottom of just where you've gone wrong with self-confidence, where you need to face particular self-doubt issues, and maybe even a money market. You're maybe starting looking at finances and solutions to finances. So you are sniffing around, says Neptune, for the solution on Wednesday. But the universe also presents a fascinating map as to how our consciousness will be kind of traveling on Wednesday. And if you follow me, I think you will find yourself in the land of Oz. It starts with Pluto. Pluto says all Leos have just got to realize they're going to be uncomfortable in the moment. You're going to be stuck in first class. You're going to be out of a tic-tac when you have bad breath. These types of things will happen until further notice, Your Majesty. Pluto retrograde says you must be comfortable with being uncomfortable in the moment. If you do that, you can open up to your intuition. So notice Pluto and the Sun are directly 7 degrees. This is the synergy energy moment between accepting what you cannot control in the moment and going along with the ride. When you do that, that new strength pours into Mars in Scorpio, which is your ability to draw lines and take care of yourself. So intuitively, you will know where to draw the line with your self-esteem, and you'll be able to draw the lines with yourself and your self-nurturing that count and matter. Then that strength from your self-nurturing, Mars and Scorpio, then channels over to Neptune and Pisces, which helps you to expand and trust. So if you follow this little pattern, you will trust yourself and the world, but it comes from following that little scavenger hunt, if you will, of spirituality and karma. All right, so then on Thursday, follow that hunt and you reach a decision. That hunt leads you to feeling stronger and trusting yourself. Trusting yourself leads to making critical decisions on Thursday. What are you deciding? You're deciding once and for all what you're not worth. You don't do windows. You're not going to be not confident. You're not going to sit there and be in fear. You're going to step up. You're going to face your insecurities. You're going to decide to cut away. And you might be a little pissy today as all this happens, because as you are standing up for yourself, you are feeling more and more vulnerable. That vulnerability comes from the moon now moving into Pisces, putting emotional harbor around trust and intimacy issues. And yes, just yesterday, you were beginning to break open the possibilities of trust. Well, today is another test of that, and so will be tomorrow. In fact, follow this path right here on the screen. When you decide, which is the Sun right there at 8 degrees, that pours into your ability to draw lines for yourself again, Mars in Scorpio. Once you draw lines for your own self-nurturing your emotions, boom, you begin to trust yourself. But here's where the cool magic really is once the moon hits Neptune. Once the moon is approaching Neptune, this is trust and intimacy for you, but having Neptune in this place means that Leos have the power to use their psychic awareness to find where they can trust. So close your eyes and sense where you have to draw the line. As you surrender to this trust and you follow that magical treasure map I gave you just a moment ago, the scavenger hunt of releasing karma, this leads to feeling the moon conjuncting Neptune, feeling the trust, and feeling God, Neptune. So you feel it. At that point, this is the moon crossing Chiron retrograde, which basically allows you to erase negative karma. So Chiron heals the karma of the situation. All the times you were burned, all the times you couldn't trust yourself, all the times you let yourself down. You see, the universe is offering some powerful changes right now in the way we connect to ourselves and in many other ways. I'm going to talk about it in just a minute. But take advantage of this moment, because with this week, we zip through our karma, we zip through our opportunity to heal, and we get to the Saturn power on the weekend, and this is one of the critical moments for that, so kind of excites me. Then comes Friday, and what is Friday? Well, right after our decision, it is time to act. That's what we always do. Mars rules the day, adding fuel to the fire. There's a full moon, so the moon goes full and tests everything we have built this week so far. So the universe, and this is a bumpy road, folks, but we're going to get there. Gosh darn it. Now, on Friday, Mars is ruling the day, so that adds anxiety to the day to begin with. You need to act, and that's what the energy is. So whatever you cut away from, I'm not going to do windows and da-da-da, put that into action. That's the basic, ABCs of the day. You must act on yesterday's decision to cut away from low prices, which means you are going to raise your prices, all right? That's the first thing. The second thing is there's a full moon on this day. Oops, the wrong slide. Nope, that is the right slide. Full moon is in opposition, which means that there's a tug of war going on inside of us as part of the drama of the day. On the one side, your emotions are reluctant to trust. Now, they're reluctant to trust because they're trying to write a big check and they just healed 24 hours ago. So it's kind of soon to trust. But the universe is not wasting any time. We have no time, so you must trust yourself. Emotions demand that. On the other side, you must act and push forward on what you're worth. There probably will be no resolution except your new approach to yourself. And Mercury at 0 degrees down there in the corner pretty much guarantees your mind will be all over the place and not really reliable. It's offline. So this is an emotional boundary decision that comes in on Friday. Then on Saturday, you're cloudy and you're private and you're squatting. What this means is it's time to squat on the new pricing structure, or at least the new anti-pricing structure. It's not time to squat on this new idea that you are confident because you have faced what cracks your foundation of self-confidence and soul capital. You are private because the moon is behind closed doors and still harboring on trust and intimacy issues. But, as I've said in the Act 3 videos, this weekend is a huge, deep wrap-up weekend that is very important and may in fact determine the next decade. Chris, don't be so dramatic. No, I am serious here, folks. Here's why. These lines. What are these lines? Well, these are hard wires. These lines say that no matter what you do, whether you're responsible or not responsible, parts of yourself are being reprogrammed and repregnated due to regardless of what happens. So the first is Mars and Saturn. Mars and Saturn trining into Neptune in Pisces. Neptune is very volatile, it's very young. That means the energy is going to flow from high concentration to low concentration, and that means that Neptune is getting most of the energy. That means whatever your decisions are with Mars in Scorpio and Saturn in Libra, this is what we were talking about. This is the big granddaddy of where it's time to decide, so let's get to it. Leos have got to decide this weekend what your attitude is going to be. What is your attitude? What does your mind have to follow? What is the mental policy? You are out of time to fall prey to your mind games any longer. Those Leos who fall into the self-doubt crap not only will undermine their soul capital, but you will put yourself on a negative Betty path for the next 10 years. I'm not kidding. Why 10 years? Because when Saturn moves into Scorpio, the energy shifts so dramatically, it will be extra hard to do two things at once, the new Saturn and the old Saturn lesson. That said, it is time to adopt the new attitude. Mine is Live, Love, Be. You can talk about it on Soul Garden about what you need yours to be. As you adopt this attitude, it deposits into what? Neptune. What is Neptune? Your trust. So if you have a poor attitude, you will create a poor trust structure. This trust structure is growing whether you like it or not. Chiron is moving backwards and erasing the old stuff and planting new. You are planting seeds to your trust for the future based on your decisions now. And so if you don't make the right ones, this is where you get in trouble. On top of that, we've got a square right now between Jupiter and the Sun. Now Jupiter has been attempting to help you find your place in the world, and here's the truth, you ain't gonna find it. So you're gonna have to operate without a map, without a plan, and completely wing it and face your fears between your reputation and this dramatic new attitude and price raising that you're doing, and that's just part of the map too. So as you can tell, some complicated soul physics going on, all based on what? Deciding what your attitude is. Hope you got that, hope that's clear. Then Sunday, woohoo! Excuse me, I'm learning how to drive this thing. It's IB Day, sunny and magical on Sunday. That's because we have a magical 11, 11, 11, 11. 11, which is the healing number, and Virgo, which is the healing sign, come together in a very powerful moment of new reality. This is a really, I don't know what to call this holiday. I call it IB Me Day, but it really is a day where you can manifest a new reality due to the magic of the vibration. So the moon moves into Aries, and it really is a turning point. This is another reason why I gave this weekend as a deadline to make decisions with your Saturn issue. This beautiful yod. So God gives us a golden yod pointing now to Uranus, all right? And what this means is the Martian energy, which is you drawing boundaries for yourself, and the Sun, which is now keeping a perfect harmony of what you're worth and your soul capital at bay, that karma pulls into Uranus, which means you have emotional shifts to what you believe in. You emotionally open up to a new reality, a new possibility, a new way of believing, a new religion. And this is a new religion. This is a new way of living you. And so this yod really puts the cherry on top. And again, this is a planetary influence that's going to happen. So if you aren't clear on who and what your attitude is and what you're worth, you are impregnating this consciousness of belief structure with false belief. This is why we are out of time, and this is why we all are facing our shift as we approach into the Grand Mal Epiphany coming up. You'll know what I'm talking about. Watch your Act 3s. All right, Your Royal Majesty, that's all I have for now. Take advantage of my offer and face that karma. I'll see you in 7 days when the decade is on its way. Until then, live, love, be.